Is Hamilton at Ferrari the key to his 8th title? Or just an impossible dream? After 12 years at Mercedes where he won everything, Hamilton has changed teams. And it's not just a change of team, it's his lifelong dream come true. But will this be the move that leads him to glory, or a mistake that will keep him away from the championship forever? Before I tell you, tell me in the comments. Do you think Hamilton will achieve his 8th title with Ferrari? Hamilton's decision to leave Mercedes after 12 seasons was not simply a strategic move, but a profound change in his career. During his time at Mercedes, he managed to become the most successful driver of the hybrid era, accumulating championships, records, and an almost absolute hegemony in modern Formula One. However, in recent years, the stability and absolute control of the German team began to transform into an environment that limited creativity and spontaneity. Mercedes has always been a structure based on efficiency, millimetric precision, and the constant optimization of every process. Its almost surgical approach allowed it to dominate Formula One for years, but it also created a corporate environment where the room for personal expression was minimal. Hamilton, who has always been a driver with a strong identity and a personality that transcends motorsport, began to feel the need for something different. Ferrari represented that opportunity. In Maranello, the British driver found a completely different environment. At Ferrari, the history, passion, and identity of the team are in every detail. From the tifosi to the engineers at the factory, every person involved in the team feels an emotional connection to the team. It is not just an organization focused on winning, it is a living tradition, a culture that transcends the technical and the strategic. During the filming day at Fiorano, Hamilton had his first contact with the SF-25 and his reaction was clear. He said he was in the right place at the right time. It was not an improvised statement. It was confirmation that after years in an ultra-structured environment like Mercedes, he had found a team where passion and history are part of the DNA of the competition. Throughout history, Ferrari has been a team where emotion has played a fundamental role. From the era of Michael Schumacher to the arrival of figures such as Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, the connection between driver and team has been key to success. At Ferrari, the energy of the team and the support of the tifosi can be a differential factor. And Hamilton knows it. Beyond the emotional, Ferrari also represents a different way of approaching competition. While Mercedes relies on discipline and process optimization, Ferrari relies on intuition, aggressiveness, and instinct in decision-making. This is reflected in the way they approach race weekends, in how they manage strategies, and in the flexibility they have to adapt to unexpected situations. For Hamilton, this change means a completely new challenge. Adapting to a different philosophy with a different culture and a more passion-focused mindset may be the boost he needs to get back to his best. In recent years, Mercedes seasons have been marked by a constant struggle against the limitations of the technical regulations and the difficulties of the car. Now, at Ferrari the situation is different. He finds himself in a team that is in the process of rebuilding, with a car that has potential and with an environment where he can rediscover the essence of competition. The contrast between the two teams is also reflected in the way Hamilton faces this new stage. During his time at Mercedes, his approach was methodical, always analyzing every detail with millimetric precision. At Ferrari, he has shown renewed energy, with an attitude more open to absorbing new ideas and adapting to an environment where intuition and tradition play as important a role as engineering and data. In this context, Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari is not just a change of team. It is a complete transformation in his career. It's not just about seeking an 8th world title, but about finding a new purpose within motorsport. It's the chance to write a different chapter in his story, in a team where the connection with the fans and the identity of the team can make all the difference. This change in philosophy is what makes his arrival at Ferrari not just a strategic move, but a step towards something bigger. For Hamilton, it's not just about winning. It's about doing it in a way that transcends, in a team that represents the essence of motorsport. From his first contact with the SF-25, Hamilton made it clear that this car is completely different to what he was used to at Mercedes. His adaptation to the new car is not just a technical process, but also a sensorial and emotional experience. The British driver has spoken in several interviews about the key differences between the Ferrari and the cars he drove at his previous team. At Mercedes, the focus was always on aerodynamic efficiency, cornering stability, and the car's ability to maximize performance without compromising tire durability. However, at Ferrari, the SF-25 has a completely different personality. The first thing Hamilton highlighted was the feeling of the Ferrari engine's power. From the moment he got into the car on the filming day at Fiorano, he mentioned that the engine's vibration, sound, and power delivery feel different. At Mercedes, the engine was extremely refined, optimized down to the last detail to be as efficient as possible. At Ferrari, on the other hand, the engine's response has a different aggressiveness, a more visceral connection with the driver. This detail is key because Hamilton is a driver who bases much of his driving on the sensitivity he transmits and the confidence that the car gives him. Another point he has highlighted is the way the SF25 behaves on the track. Compared to Mercedes cars, Ferrari has designed a car that responds more directly to the driver's movements. Hamilton has commented that the car transmits more information through the steering wheel, allowing him to feel the grip better and adjust his driving style more precisely. This feature is essential for a driver of his level, as it allows him to adapt his approach to each corner, making the most of the car's capabilities. There is also a notable difference in the way Ferrari has worked on the aerodynamics of the SF25. In recent years, Mercedes has opted for a design that favors stability in high-speed corners, reducing understeer and ensuring that the car behaves predictably in all scenarios. At Ferrari, however, the concept is different. The SF25 has been designed to be more aggressive on corner entry, allowing the driver to play with the balance of the car in a more dynamic way. For Hamilton, this represents an interesting challenge as he will have to adjust his driving style to get the most out of this philosophy. Another important aspect is the interaction with the engineers and technical team. At Mercedes, Hamilton had an established relationship with a working group that knew his driving style and preferences in terms of car setup perfectly. At Ferrari, he is in a process of adaptation, working with engineers who have a different mindset and who have developed a car under different parameters. This means that, in his first tests, Hamilton has had to spend time not only understanding the car, but also building a relationship with his new working team, ensuring that their feedback translates into improvements in the performance of the SF25. In terms of setup, one of the areas where Ferrari has made significant progress is in tire management. One of the team's problems last season was premature wear, which compromised its performance in long races. According to the data collected in the first tests, the SF25 has improved in this aspect, allowing greater stability in long runs without compromising speed in qualifying. For Hamilton, this is a key factor, as it will allow him to apply his experience in tire management to optimize race strategies. Finally, Hamilton has spoken about the general feeling of driving a Ferrari. Beyond the technical aspects, he has mentioned that there is something special about being behind the wheel of a car with so much history. For him, it is not just a Formula One car, but a piece of a tradition that has defined motorsport for decades. In several interviews he has expressed that he feels a different connection with the SF25, an emotion that transports him back to his early years in motorsport, when each race was a new opportunity to discover something incredible. This emotional factor can be an advantage for Hamilton in the fight for the championship. In recent years, it has been seen that when a driver is motivated and connected with his team and his car, his performance can rise to a higher level. At Mercedes, over time, that spark seemed to have gone out to a certain extent. At Ferrari, with a car that offers him a completely new feeling and an environment where passion and history are part of every detail, Hamilton seems to have found renewed impetus. The SF25 is not just a different car. It is a new challenge, an opportunity to show that he still has the ability to compete at the highest level. His adaptation to this car will be key in the season, and the first signs indicate that he is ready to squeeze out all his potential. From the moment Hamilton announced his arrival at Ferrari, it was clear that this decision went beyond the sporting. It is not just about trying to win another championship, but about building a legacy that will be marked in the history of motorsport. Winning a title with Ferrari is not the same as doing so with any other team. The Scuderia is the most iconic team in Formula One, the one that has been present since the very beginning of the championship and the one that has seen the greatest legends of the sport pass through. If Hamilton manages to bring Ferrari back to the top, his name will not only go down as the most successful driver in terms of titles, but as the man who rewrote the history of Formula One. The historical context adds even more weight to this challenge. Ferrari has not won a driver's championship since 2007, when Kimi Räikkönen was crowned in a dramatic season. Since then, the team has come close on several occasions, but has always lacked something to achieve its goal. In recent years, the title race has been dominated by Mercedes and Red Bull, leaving Ferrari in a secondary role. Hamilton's arrival represents the opportunity to change that. With his experience, talent and winning mentality, he may be the factor that finally makes the difference. If he does win the championship with Ferrari, Hamilton would become the first British driver to win a title with the Scuderia in more than 6 decades. The last to do so was John Surtees in 1964. Since then, great names such as Nigel Mansell and Jenson Button have passed through Ferrari without achieving glory. The impact of this achievement would be immense, not only for the team and the Tifosi but for the history of the sport itself. But beyond the records, this change represents something even deeper in Hamilton's career. For years, his name has been linked to Mercedes, a team that he helped build and with which he achieved greatness. However, Ferrari is different. It is the team that, regardless of the era or the competitiveness of the car, has always been the soul of Formula One. Racing for Ferrari means being part of a tradition that goes beyond results. It means entering a history that includes names such as Alberto Ascari, Niki Lauda, Michael Schumacher and so many others. Winning with Ferrari is not just a personal success, it is an achievement that transcends generations. The challenge, however, is enormous. Ferrari has been a team known for its complex internal structure, for the constant pressure of the media and for the intensity of its fans. It is not an easy environment, and not all drivers have known how to handle it. Hamilton not only has to face the competition on the track, but also the demands of a team that lives with the expectation of returning Ferrari to the top. In that sense, his experience at Mercedes, where he learned to manage the pressure of a dominant team, could be key to facing this new chapter. Another fundamental point in this path is his relationship with Charles Leclerc. Ferrari has not had two drivers of this caliber in the same lineup since the era of Schumacher and Barrichello. The dynamic between them can be decisive in the success or failure of this new stage. If Ferrari manages to correctly manage the relationship between the two and gives them a car capable of fighting for the championship, history is ready to be written. For Hamilton, this is the last big mission of his career. If he secures an 8th title with Ferrari, he will break Michael Schumacher's record and establish himself as the most successful driver in history in terms of world championships. But beyond the numbers, this move gives him the chance to show that his greatness did not depend on a single team, but on his ability to adapt and his champion's instinct. His quote on the filming day sums it all up: being in the right place at the right time. This is his moment to make history, not only as the driver with the most titles, but as the man who revived Ferrari's greatness and left an indelible mark on Formula One. Hamilton is already looking forward to the season starting because he feels that this is his moment. After years at Mercedes, where he built an era of absolute dominance, he now finds himself in a completely different scenario. Ferrari represents a challenge, an opportunity and a new motivation. It is not just a change of team, it is a new purpose in his career. In the past, when a driver joined Ferrari, he knew he was joining a team where history weighs as much as performance on the track. Hamilton is no stranger to that reality. Since his first contact with the Scuderia, he has shown a renewed attitude, with a level of energy that has not been seen from him in recent seasons. This is not just a technical challenge, but a project in which every decision he makes can change the course of modern Formula One. The big question is whether this move will be enough for him to achieve his 8th title. Formula One is not just about talent, it is also about strategy, development and a team that understands how to maximize the performance of its star driver. Ferrari has shown that it has the speed, but it still needs to prove that it can maintain consistency and tactical intelligence throughout a full season. The difference between a good car and a championship car is measured in details, and those details will be what define whether Hamilton can fight until the end for the championship. If Ferrari has corrected its weaknesses from last year, if the SF25 gives Hamilton the confidence to push it to the limit and if the team manages to manage the internal battle with Charles Leclerc effectively, the possibility of seeing Hamilton in the title fight is real. It won't be easy. Red Bull has set the standard in recent years, but if there is one driver with the ability to challenge that dominance and change history, it is him. This season is not just an opportunity for Hamilton, it is also an opportunity for Ferrari. If they manage to bring glory back to Maranello, the impact will transcend the sporting. It will be the rebirth of the Scuderia in the modern era, a story that will forever remain in the memory of motorsport. The question now is, what do you think? Do you think Hamilton has what it takes to bring Ferrari back to the top? Will he be able to dethrone Verstappen and Red Bull? Leave it in the comments and let's talk about what could be one of the most exciting seasons in years. And if you want more in-depth analysis of Formula One, don't forget to subscribe. In the next video we'll discuss a key point for the season that could determine who takes home the championship.